taking your time out of your busy schedule to be with us here today. The album is just around the corner now. I can't believe we're nearly in September already. How are you guys feeling in the camp at Paradise Lost?
Pretty good. I mean, we've just been, since April, we've been doing quite a lot of touring and festivals. So we haven't really, this is the first kind of week we've had off since April. So we're just kind of getting used to getting ready for the next cycle for the album. So we've been doing sort of interviews in between, but we've kind of been non-stop this year since it's been crazy actually. So now I guess when the cycle starts for the album, and then we've got some in-stores to do. We've got and then the tours in October. So we're getting ready for it, I guess,
Yeah, it really is no rest for the wicked at the end of the day. Geez, when do you take some free time to kind of explore some of your hobbies outside of music?
I'm going on vacation for 10 days next week, but that's, I was going to say I've got that coming up, which I've actually forgotten about, but I've got that coming up. So
bit of a calm before the storm kicks back in, but that's great. And speaking of the album as well, geez, you've been going for quite some time now. You've influenced so many artists all the way from, bands I grew up with as kids like him to Lord of the Lost, all these bands. How's it kind of feel to keep releasing music that feels fresh after all this time?
I guess each album, I always wonder how we're going to do another one, but if you've got a decent amount of time in between, which we did with this one, because we had 2 years extras added on because of the COVID shit. So it's kind of 5 years. So if you have enough time away from it, then you can kind of come back. And I mean, when you first start a band, it's not just us. A lot of bands seem to do this. They just seem to do an album after an album. Like every year, there's a new album, and then eventually it slows down. But I think that's probably because you actually start to tour, whereas in the first year you don't tour as much. So if people like it, the more touring you do, so then there's a bigger gap between. But I mean, I guess if you can sort of step back and take stock a little bit, which is very helpful. So we've had, like I say, we were quite a long time to kind of write this, and we started writing before the lockdown, but then we kind of shelved it, and then we came back to it after. We did another album in between, actually, the Host album that Greg and myself did, which was a little bit different to what we're doing in PL at the moment. But having a bit of hindsight and being able to step back is always useful. But like you say, I mean, it's nearly coming up to 40. It's not far off 40 years the band's been going, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, it's about 30. I don't know. Is it 37 years? I don't know what it is. It's not. It's the wrong side of 30.
No, don't say that. It's the exact same, right? It's the perfect side of 30 because it's exactly as old as I am. So let's just say it's the perfect age. It's not too old. It's not too young. It's perfect. Perfect. But that's got to be weird in itself, kind of reflecting back and going, wow, nearly 40 years. Like your band potentially could have kids and they'd be becoming adults at this point in time, which is wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, two of the guys are grandfathers anyway.
Yeah.
So I think their grandkids are like 10 and then around 10 or something. So it's like, it's a weird thing. I mean, it really does accelerate. I think once we have children, your life just goes in a blink. It's kind of scary, actually. It really, and you don't feel any different, but you see them grow up, and then all of a sudden you just catch your reflection in a mirror as you're driving past, and you just look like this fucking decrepit old bald guy. And you're thinking, fuck me, where did all that go to? But yeah, it is. I think since I had children, it's really accelerated. But I suppose on the band side of things, once you start releasing an album and then touring an album, 3 years it really is so quick. It goes so fast. We've done that pretty much for the best how many albums it is.
Yeah.
Since the last, so I guess it's kind of gone. That's helped to accelerate as well, I guess.
Now, going back to the kids part as well, when you had your children and they started growing up, did that affect the way you wrote music? Did you look at music and life? Or I'm assuming, of course, you looked at life a little bit differently because your whole life turns upside down as soon as you have kids. But did it affect the music or the songwriting for you at all?
No, I don't think anything. I don't think anything that's happened in our personal lives has affected the music, because the music, we started doing it because it's always been escapist, and it remains that way.
Yeah.
However dark and mournful the lyrics might be, or the riffs, or whatever it may be, it's all part of stuff we grew up listening to, and it's always been a massive source of escapism for us, and it's never been anything else but that. even though we've been fortunate enough to turn it into a living and a career as well. But it's always been a very important escapist thing, and nothing that's happened outside has affected it. Luckily, it hasn't really. We've managed to still do both, however happy or however tragic it may have been along the way. So, but it's a good, it's a great outlet as well for us, because we still have a very quite a lot of old friends and peers in other bands that we still see regularly, and we still have kind of friendships outside. Which, I mean, I guess a lot of guys our age, they lose a lot of their friends, as they kind of just maybe move away or that kind of thing, or death, as the case may be. But we've kind of managed to keep the network, like I say, amongst other bands, with friends in other bands that have been going as long as we have, and we're still, high-fiving when we see them. It's great to see all these. So, yeah, there's a real nice kind of old boy network that's kind of carried on for the last 30 years,
Yeah. No, well, okay. Well, I guess that didn't affect the music, but how times of changing everything, especially with COVID. Do you guys still get in the room together, jam it out to kind of write songs? Do you all bring your individual pieces, or are you doing what everyone else does now and just sending files over Dropboxes back and forth to each other?
We've been sending files. We've been sending files forever. I mean, we've been writing like that probably 10, 15 years maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's just way more convenient, and if you're jamming together, you can get on the same train of thought that something's brilliant, and then when you listen back later on, you realize it wasn't probably that as good as you thought it was, and it's just you've wasted time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of better to be able to listen to things and absorb it. I mean, you send things off and you're getting maximum criticism on one end, when you think it's great, but then it's like, no, it's shit, and then you think, actually, yeah, you're right, it is shit. So, but you get to that conclusion way faster than if you're stuck in a room jamming. I think so. But we've never been that kind of jam band anyway, really. Even when we jam, we didn't like it. So.
Oh, well, I guess you're just ahead of the times at the end of the day when it comes to all that file sharing stuff and everything.
Well, I think with that, because obviously people got married and people moved away, because we don't live near each other anyway. So we had to come up with some practical way of doing it, And I mean, I live about 20 miles away from Steve, our bass player, but apart from that, the other guys are all scattered all over the place. So.
Yeah. Now, you right? I just heard your doorbell ring. Did you need to grab that?
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was just on my phone. It's like my missus upstairs. She'll say, "Probably the postman." It'll be some shit from Amazon, I've no doubt. But
mate, it's always shit from Amazon. Whenever I hear that door, I don't even bother. I just I know it's not for me. Like, unless it's a bill coming in. Like, at the end of the day, it's always something from Amazon. I'll tell you what, life's gotten too easy when it comes to getting stuff delivered. I remember loving it when it first happened, and now I'm just like, can we go back to the 90s where it was difficult and it took weeks for stuff to come in? I don't know. I'm becoming a grumpy old man when it comes to that stuff.
I know what you mean, yeah. But it's the convenience, isn't it? It's just like getting it like that. You know what I mean? That's what people like, I guess.
Yeah. It's never going to go away. And look, I do like it at the end of the day, I guess. But getting back to the music side of things with this album as well, because you did have that extra time to kind of write it. Did you go back and change much? Like you said, you started it before COVID, you shelved it a bit. Did those songs ever make it to the light of day, or did you completely rearrange them?
Lay a Wreath Upon the World, I think, was just about the only one that's made it through. And that was actually shelved for a bit, but then I listened to it again and went, oh, actually, this is pretty good, so we should bring it back. But it's quite different to the other songs as well, which I like, because every song's kind of a bit different. And that was very important. That's kind of important, I think, to kind of shake things up a bit, really. But yeah, it's I think that one, and maybe Life Unknown, one of the extras tracks. I think that could be a very early one as well. But you never know. I mean, you never know what's going to kind of be on an album or not. I mean, they don't really change much once they're written. We're very meticulous with it, with the writing. The lyrics I'll just come back to again and again and again. I mean, I come back to the lyrics so many times because I have to make it make sense in my head, even if it doesn't make sense as you read it. To me, things have to fit. The words have to sound right over the music, etc. So I'm very meticulous with that. And I know Greg is with the music. So once it's in the bag, it really is in the bag, I guess. But even then, I changed a couple of lyrics when I was singing it in the studio because for some reason they weren't sounding as good as they were on the demo. So. Yeah, they're kind of there. When they're there, they're there. And afterwards, with that said, when we've done an album, I never regret anything we've recorded because it's the best we could have possibly done at the time.
Yeah.
So there may be some albums where I feel the production is kind of lacking, maybe, or the guitar sound could have been a bit better or whatever. But apart from that, the song wise, they're exactly where we are at that stage. So I never think, oh, I wish we'd done that, or because it's just ridiculous. Because like I say, we're kind of meticulous with it, particularly now. The last kind of 5 or 6 albums.
Yeah, no, I had the chance to listen to the album today. They sent it over to me, and I was quite pleasantly surprised. And the song you mentioned, A Wreath Upon the World, as well. When that did kick in, I was like, oh, this is so different. I think it was like track number 5, maybe 6 on the album as well. Kind of really broke up. Yeah, kind of really broke up that middle section. And then another one you just mentioned, A Life Unknown, that ended on a much bigger note than what I was kind of expecting. Very kind of, I don't know, boppy. I don't want to use the word boppy, but any other words escape me at the moment. I don't know. There was a certain energy to it that kind of really kind of closed the album in a way. I was like, oh, damn, okay, I'll go back to the start and play this all the way through again, which I don't often get on my first listen through an album. So, yeah. Right. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, when we're doing it, we don't necessarily know what track list the order is going to be for the track running. That's always a bit of it. That's always a thing that comes after. We never really think like that. And the song we thought would open the album didn't actually open it, which we've actually written songs that we think is going to open the album, and then it's actually become a B-side when we've recorded it for whatever reason. So yeah, we don't really think about that aspect until everything's together. Then we kind of slot them together to see how they're going to sound in running order. But we still work from vinyl days where there's an A-side and a B. Yeah, we in our heads there's A-sides and B-sides, and first track on side B, last song on the album. We still have that mentality. Even though everyone just plays whichever song they want on shuffle or whatever, but we still have the old school vinyl mentality with it,
It's good, and I'm seeing a lot of bands come back to that as well, where I feel the albums flow more like a movie and it's not all top heavy, because that's the worst thing. I remember, I think it was in the early 2000s when Apple Music became a big thing. Everyone put their 4 best songs as the first 4 songs on an album, and as you went through, the album would slowly get worse and worse and worse, and there was never any ups and downs or any flows, which I like that. Because vinyls come back as such a big thing, you got to think of the vinyl. You don't want side A to be fantastic, side B, just
yeah. I mean, definitely that's the thing, and yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, at the time when you write them, every song has its qualities, and it's not until later on when you think certain songs might go ahead of the one that you thought was, and then you kind of figure out which of the. I mean, when you play them live as well, you get the But I mean, the songs we choose to play live tend to be the ones that turn out to be, like I say, the songs that end up being video singles, people probably play them more.
Yeah.
Just because they're just accessible more. And it's just like I say, it goes back to the thing where it's just in front of you, play it. And then it's, but yeah, choosing singles again is something that we don't really want to really get involved in, really, because like I say, we write albums, but we kind of just let about 30 different people give their idea, and then what the general consensus is, we tend to go with that. Which is exactly what we've done with this album, you know what I mean? But yeah, we kind of gave up writing because obviously we come from the MTV generation, and it was all about getting the single onto that show. So we went through a period where it's all about the single, you know what I mean? And then he just kind of fucks up the album because you just concentrate and try to write some 3-minute pop song, which just becomes very, very irritating. So we kind of sagged that off years ago, and we've gone back to writing albums again, you know what I mean?
Is it refreshing to kind of go back and do that after, because so many bands went through that phase of the MTV era, and then I guess some of the European bands still go through it because there's a chance it could go into Eurovision if they write that 3-minute perfect song as well. Yeah.
We stopped sort of making it. I mean, when we were on, like EMI, when we were around that time, there was a way more sort of focus on that sort of approach to it. So I mean, we haven't really been in that frame of mind for a very long time, really.
No.
I mean, when you're kind of trying to get that one song, it just affects the quality of everything else because you're just concentrating too much on this or that. And there's so much luck involved anyway now. In general, is luck. I mean, you can have the best song in the world and no one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? It's been the right place, the right time with pretty much everything in life, not just this.
Oh,
so,
it really is.
It's better to just concentrate on the album,
Yeah, no, that's the best way of going about it. Do you guys have much input into the music videos you do? Or is it something you kind of let other people present ideas to yourself?
No, definitely, yeah. I mean, there's a kind of general brief, and I mean, when I start coming up with an idea for a video, I kind of run wild with it, and I start coming up with ideas that would cost billions to make, like a movie, and then it's like, okay, well, we've got to stream that down. We've got to stream it down to till a 3 or 4 minute video. It's like, so okay, how can we? Let's cut out the army. Let's not have an army in this. Let's less. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of run with the idea. But also the end result, I also like. I mean, Ash Pears has worked with the band for years. He's done a lot of our videos, and I give him my idea of an idea, and then he kind of runs with it, and he comes up with his own ideas, which I love that because I really trust him as well. He's got a great vision of it, and he really knows the band and what we're about. And you know, the videos he's done for this is just. I don't think he's done anything that I haven't liked straight away. You know, because he just kind of gets down and. But yeah, it's always nice with video guys. If they run with something, you get an idea, you've given them a tidbit, then they run with it, and they come up with something that's maybe not what you said originally, but it's still really interesting. And so, but yeah, we don't just kind of say, because they always say, well, what have you got anything in mind? But I don't think we've ever said, oh, we haven't got anything in mind, because you're asking for trouble, I think, if you haven't got anything in mind.
Yeah, that's when you'll have to, you know, you'll fall into the trap of playing in a warehouse on a stage with water on the concrete floors to reflect the lights, like every band in 2000s did.
Yeah, we have. I think we've done that a few times, actually, to be honest with you. We've done a lot of videos. I'm sure there's a few like that.
Well, walk me through a bit, because I find the video fascinating to the point I'd love to hear your opinion on it or your take on it. Serpent on the Cross, because it was interesting. You guys aren't in the video, of course, and it's a very high dark fantasy, like the very 80s filter over the whole thing. Like, what was the idea behind that one? Because the idea behind that
was what I said initially was, but the guy we used, he was very fantasy, which we were kind of like, because we'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
But I gave him the idea of the butterfly comes, it's like a new life. The butterfly flies and it goes across scenes of beauty and then scenes of disaster and scenes of death. And it flies, and then there's a different scene every time it keeps flying. And this was, in my mind's eye, was like a proper video, not animation or anything. It was like a real, you know. But then everyone just thought, do you have any idea how much it's going to cost to get a drone to fly across?
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever. But no, this was just the sort of initial. But then at the end, the moth or the fly, the butterfly, just kind of it dies right at the end. And that was the kind of the thing I gave, and then this guy kind of ran with it and turned it this massive kind of moth, became all powerful. And I kind of things I like that kind of stuff anyway. So you know, I mean, I'm kind of into a lot of that stuff. So I really, but when I watch it, I'm watching the video, and the music's kind of just a soundtrack for the images that you're seeing, and I kind of like when videos do that. So. But I like the way he kind of ran with it. I mean, there was a bit of a hoo-ha about the AI aspect of it, which I didn't realize it would cause that much fuss. But I mean, we could have done a lyric video, but you know, we thought we'd try something a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's something we haven't done before, and like I said, the initial concept a little bit different to how it eventually came out. You know.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's super that dark fantasy, which I really like. It's just one of those ones where I'm like, wow, I was not expecting it going in, so it kind of took me off guard.
That's the thing, because we saw some of his work and we said, well, we haven't done this before, so let's give it a go. But I mean, you know, I probably unlikely we'll go down that route again. But it was just interesting to do it for one song, you know.
Yeah, and you can say you've done it, you tick it off the list, it's in the bag. And you mentioned the AI feedback. We don't need to get into that, but out of curiosity, do you go to the YouTube comments on your things and see what people are saying about songs? Do you watch the reactors who do the videos?
Yeah, I did. Well, a friend of mine does videos, and he's just said, and he didn't. I mentioned there was some. It's not all AI, but there's some AI for sure, and. He just said, "Oh, you're going to get a load of shit for it," and I didn't really understand why. And then I was, "Oh my god, yeah, he's right." So, but I guess it's the equivalent of, a home recording. I guess it's that, but from the art world, I guess it's a similar sort of thing, which I can understand. But yeah, it was, that was, more than I thought. But there was, you know.
Look, at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of positive comments on everything as well, and everyone's going to have a whinge about AI because it's the cool thing to have a whinge about at the moment, but it's going to be around for a little while, so I think people have to get used to it. What do you think about these, I don't know if you've seen them at all, like Spotify having that big fake band that turns out was AI and they were trying to perceive it as real, and it was trying to convince people, it's interesting. You ever get a chance, give it a go, because it tried to defend itself. And then it accidentally outed itself, and then everyone was like, it was getting millions, monthly listeners, millions. It was, wow. Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. I don't have a Spotify account, so I just use YouTube, but yeah, no, I ain't heard of that. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, but we'll get away from that as well. Touring's starting up soon again. Do you know which songs you guys are going to play live, or are you going to wait to get a bit of feedback from people once the record's out?
What we're doing at the moment is the singles, I guess. That they're the kind of three that we lined up to play.
Yeah.
We might do a fourth one. I'm not sure yet, but we will do a fourth one later on. But for this tour, I think we'll do the first three. So the first three singles, I guess. And then we're going to shake up the existing set a bit as well, because obviously we've got a lot of songs to go through. So we're looking at changing around another bunch of songs as well from the back catalogue. So, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be the three singles at the moment. So.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And it's one of those things too, I think, if people enjoy an album, you've got to go out and see a band because, like you said, you've been around for 37 years, you've got like 16, 17 albums. When this touring cycle's done, if someone really enjoyed that album, missed this tour cycle, they may not get to see 3-4 songs of this album. They might only get to see one in the future. Do you take that into account much when you go through and cycle things through?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're just on the festivals and the singles have been out, but we didn't play the songs at the festivals purely because you play it live, you're kind of releasing it even before it's. I mean, as soon as you play any song live, if it's not out, you've literally released it.
You've released
it in the worst sound quality possible through a phone, which we didn't, so we didn't want to kind of go down that route. But yeah, we always think about that aspect of things and exclusive elements to it, but. With setlists, we kind of lock into one and we kind of do it just for the season, and then we might change it. Although there's a couple of songs, I think we're going to maybe rotate. Which sometimes we rotate songs, 2 or 3 songs, different gigs, I guess, depending on what's going on. But yeah, no, it's the setlist always. We once did a poll where we got everyone to give their ideal setlist, and we got a lot of people comment on this. It was like thousands of people, and the setlist that they came up with was pretty much what we're doing already. So it was kind of like quite an interesting thing. But everyone says, "Oh, you should do this song or this song or this song." But like I said, when we did that poll, it was kind of more or less in the ballpark of what we do anyway. So anyway,
it's funny. We're all creatures of habit at the end of the day. We think we want something different, but we don't like change. We like comfort. We like a familiar. No, I'm not pronouncing that word tonight. I guess.
Familiarity, but I mean, then you could say, if someone's watching and it goes, "Oh, I wanted to see this song live," and then they're watching, they go, well, "Actually, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be," So there's always that as well,
Yeah, I've had that before. But, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here tonight. But there's something I've got to ask you. Like you said, band's been around for 37 years. Is there any memory, funny, sad, happy, whatever it may be, that always sticks out to you with your time on the road or making music?
I mean, there's absolutely loads of things, to be honest. Most of them aren't really, something I want to share with the general public, to be fair.
Fair enough.
But I mean, there's loads. I mean, like I say, we've had our bus. We had a bus fire once. Our bus set on fire, and we thought this was in Germany. It was just before the internet became mainstream adopted kind of thing. So it was, but our bus set on fire, and we got woke up, and we kind of got off the bus very slowly, and we thought, oh, it's okay, we'll be back on in a minute. We got off, and some of our guys just had their underwear on. They left everything on board, and this is in kind of like Germany in like October, November. It was kind of pretty cold.
Yeah.
So we got off the bus, and then we stood there, and then it just exploded in a ball of flame. So we kind of lost everything on the bus. So then we had to kind of go to the fire station in the local town and dig out all the old moon boots and all the shit they cleaned out of houses, and we were kind of walking around in all these firemen's clothes.
Oh shit. God!
But I mean that was kind of, like I say, it was just before the internet became a big like a mainstream. So it kind of went under the radar a bit. But I mean that would have been incredibly newsworthy now. I mean that was kind of. But I mean the fact we got out of there and then it exploded. It was like, oh my God! I mean another 5 or 10 minutes. We could have been history very easily in that regard. You know what I mean? But that one, I guess that sticks out. Amongst many others,
and that's crazy that you mentioned it today, because Australian artist Kim Dracula just had that exact thing happen. Woke up this morning, they said get off the bus. They got off the bus and they went outside, and 30 seconds later it was gone. So,
it's scary because I mean obviously you never think you're going to die, do you? That's the thing. I'll be all right. What happened to me?
Yeah.
But fucking could have done very easily. You know?
Yeah, bloody hell. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can't wait for people to hear this album. I think they're going to be very, very happy with it. And, you're still going after all these years. So look forward to year 40 with the band as well coming up in a couple of years. Maybe try not to think about that too much. But, Nick, thank you once again. Enjoy.
Yeah, cheers, very good to talk to you.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
Thanks, mate. All the best.
Yeah, bye. Bye.